Okay, hello and welcome to another video. And today I thought I would draw fan art for Flins, the new character from Genshin Impact. I'm pretty sure he just came out today because today's October 1st, so I think that's when the banner started. If you watched my last video where I made some fan art of the character from the new game Ananta that's going to be released hopefully next year, then you'll know that I have not played Genshin in quite a while. Even though I liked Genshin, I do this with all the games, even if I like them. Anime, shows, games, whatever it is, I always get really obsessed, play it for a little bit, and then get distracted with something else, forget it exists, and then a couple months later, I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably come back to that. So I definitely want to get back into playing Genshin. But even though I haven't been playing Genshin, I have been keeping up with a lot of the updates and things, just because I get all the edits on my TikTok feed and everything. That being said, when this guy started to go viral all over TikTok, I thought, well, he looks super cool. He looks like a little emo boy character or whatever, you know? I don't really know much about him. I do know, I think he has something to do with the afterlife and ghosts, because apparently he can see parts in Genshin that other characters can't see. If a gravestone is broken, then he can see the rest of the gravestone or whatever, and then it's he can see people that other characters in Genshin can't see. So not 100% sure about his whole lore and his backstory and everything and his role in Genshin. It sounds like he might be a student for something and he likes to get out of classes or something. I do remember seeing a couple of interactions with him with a teacher or something. Again, like I said, it's been a really long time. The last area I played in Genshin, I think was Liyue or Dragonspine. I think Dragonspine came out after Liyue. So Liyue, Maset, and Dragonspire. Did I say Dragonspine? Dragonspire. Those three areas were the last areas I played. So it's been a really long time since I've actually picked up the game. Every time I try to pick up the game, I'm just so far behind. I wish if I could just make a new account and then transfer my characters into my new account. I would probably just prefer doing that because I feel that'd be easier than trying to come back to the game and catching up on everything I've missed and fixing my characters, because my world level is way higher than what my characters can realistically do. So I didn't really plan that far ahead very well. So that's annoying. So it's made it pretty difficult to kind of get back into it, because I need to fix that, and I don't want to fix that because it's really tedious work. But I don't want to lose all the characters I pulled for. I don't really care about anything else, the weapons, whatever. I don't pull for weapons or anything, so I really don't care about any of that stuff, or where I even am in the story. I don't mind redoing parts. But if I could create a new account or just reset my account but keep my characters, that would be amazing. But obviously you can't. At least I'm pretty sure you can't. So I just need to stop being lazy and go back into the game and fix the mistakes that I have made and get my characters up in level, so I can actually get back into playing the game. But I did see a character and I thought that he looked super cool, so I wanted to draw some fan art for him. And I decided I've been wanting to do more just pencil sketches in my notebook. I don't know why. I feel I just like pencil spreads. I do know I don't think they're necessarily always as popular on YouTube, because I know on YouTube to have colors and thumbnails make them stick out more and people are more likely to click it or whatever. But I really like pencil sketches. I think they look so nice. They're so underrated. So my Nanta single page spread was also a bunch of pencil sketches, and I was actually going to do something similar for this one, but I actually ended up changing my mind. So originally I was going to do a couple poses, but instead I found this one screenshot of him on Pinterest, and I was like, you know what, let's just draw this one. So when I drew this originally, I did not expect it to take as long as it ended up taking. It took me about an hour and a half to complete the full drawing, maybe an hour 40 minutes, because I did continue it a little bit after I finished the camera doing some final touches or whatever. But so I didn't expect it to take as long as it did, but I do think it came out pretty nice. I am actually pretty happy with the final piece. I was very skeptical at multiple points throughout drawing this piece because for starters, his arms kind of, a little weird. I drew one arm where he was supposed to hold the lantern and stuff. You couldn't really see the lantern just because it got cut off. But the hand that's supposed to be a clothing lantern and stuff, it just this perspective, it just did not make sense. I was So I left it for a while, but at the very end, I decided to get rid of it because I was I don't like that. I wanted to cover it with something because I knew that I didn't like it. And at this point, I would it was at night. My dad's been moving, so I've been helping him move for the last 5 days, and I was really tired. I was I do not have the energy to try to sit here for the next 30 minutes to fix his hand, because when I drew a page for Wumuti, which is a K-pop idol, I drew it 2 months ago or whatever. You can watch it if you'd like. But that was pretty intense perspective, and I remember that the legs in that one took me a lot of tries. I was really happy with how it came out, and I pushed myself to finish it, but I just did not have the energy to push myself to fix the perspective in this one for his arm. So I ended up covering it later. I think it came out overall the page came out super cool looking. But I did fix it later by just covering it up. I took the lazy way out. But also, this just reminds me I haven't drawn Genshin fan art I feel in so long, drawing, and man, this was a reminder of how detailed these Genshin characters are, because oh my god, I swear to god, drawing the details were so difficult, especially like some of the details were just like, I couldn't tell from the photo exactly what was happening in like the clothing. I was really confused, but I was too lazy to get up and go to my computer to like look up a 3D model of his. Even, I don't even know if that was out. I was too lazy to try to look up different things or other references to try to like figure out what his outfit was. So I kind of just did it to the best of my ability and figured it out. I think it's like close enough. I think definitely like his left side, or like technically when you're watching it, it would be his right side. But like, you know, like in reality, if you're facing the same pose he's doing, then it'd be like on his left side. I did that side like first, so I think I spent a lot more time figuring out the details on that side. But the right side, when I get to it later, you'll see. At that point, I was like super done with the drawing. I did not feel like, I was like, I had done the face, I had done the left side, I had done like the center. I just like was not in the mood to do the right side. So I definitely dropped the ball in terms of the details on the right side. I did it like just detailed enough that it would still like look fine in the overall piece, but not as detailed as the left. So if you actually compare it with like his outfit, I'm sure there's plenty of things that are missing or just look a little bit wonky or wrong, but you know, whatever. It looked good enough in the end. That's all I really care about. But when I drew the left side, that definitely took a lot of time. I think that took like the bulk of the hour and a half I spent on this drawing was like just sitting there trying to go through like all these details. I think if I recall correctly, I think it literally took me like around 30 to 45 minutes, like just to do like his left side with like all these details. Oh my god. But then when I got to his face, I had done the middle part of his body and it was like coming like okay. I think the jewelry guys in the middle came out longer than it's technically supposed to be, I think, but it's good enough. Also the perspective on that also looks a little bit wonky. It doesn't look quite right, but like it's fine. But so when I did the middle, I was going to do the right, but I really wasn't in the mood to do the right after doing the left. So instead I was like, well, okay, let's draw the face. So when I drew the face, honestly, I think his face came out like fantastic. I love the way his face came out. It came out so good. I've been avoiding the face recently in like a lot of the drawings I'm doing, where I do like things like the body and stuff first and then I do the face last. I think it's just because I feel like I've been struggling with my faces recently. I'm not quite sure why. It could be that maybe my hair's deteriorating a little bit because of periods where I wasn't drawing, but I've been drawing like semi-consistently since I've been doing YouTube because I post 3 videos a week, so I have to draw consistently. So I don't think that's why. I think what might be happening is that my my mental ability to like spot all these mistakes is getting better, but my technical ability is not improving at the same rate. So I'm pretty sure I just need to do a lot of studies. But I've just been so busy, I haven't had time to do the studies. But I definitely think, I mentioned this in my last video as well, I think I really just want to take the time to sit down and just do a lot of studies, because I think that'll really help. Because like sometimes it's like, you know, at first I thought like I was just having like an off day or two when like the faces weren't looking right, because like that happens, you know, like you just have an off day and it's like whatever, like, you know, I just assume like okay, in another day or two, like it'll be fine, I'll be back to normal. That's always what happens. But then it didn't happen. I was like, I'm still not liking the way the faces are coming out. Even like things about the body, like now with the hands, I know I just said that I didn't like the way his hands looked, but like if you took his hand like on its own without like the perspective and the body around it, I feel like I thought it turned out like fine. The problem was just like the perspective. The perspective of like the arm didn't make sense, like connected to the hand, like it looked wonky. But like the hand itself, I've actually really liked the way my hands have come out when I did my art style study of trickywagon, and I studied the way she does her hands. I think like I really like my hands like so much more now. So I think I need to do like a lot of dedicated studies on the face, because I just feel like the face shape I think isn't like terrible, but I feel like, I don't know, I guess sometimes the face shape looks a little bit wonky, like especially like angles that I literally never draw in. They can be really difficult to draw. But then also like the face itself, like the facial features, maybe like the nose and the mouth, I feel like I've gotten better, but it's like the eyes. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I used to be more comfortable in the eyes, and I don't know what happened, but I feel like just recently I feel like my eyes have been more wonky. Like they've taken more work to get right, which is kind of weird and really annoying. It might be because I'm doing more detail eyes now. So before I did eyes very similar to the way Tamika does her eyes, where they're like very simple, there's not a lot of details. But recently I've been exploring more and more the way anime draws eyes a lot, with like, you know, Genshin, Hoyoverse style, where there's like a little bit more detail in them than the way I was doing it before. And I think because of that, if there are any mistakes in the eyes, it's more noticeable. So I think that's what the issue is. So I think I really just need to work on not doing that, like fixing that mistake. But obviously that'll probably take a while of a lot of studies to fix. But I do think that is probably the main problem. I think another issue is the hair. So here I actually really liked the way the hair came out in the final piece. It looks not bad. Like it actually looks pretty good. So I struggled with it a little bit at first, you know, but I think the style of this hair is like the style that the hair came out in this drawing, I think is what I'm trying to go for like all my future drawings, you know, because it's like before I I feel like I did like bigger strands of hair, so that it wasn't like as detailed, but I think I like the Genshin way and like the Honkai way of like drawing hair, where it's like, it's still not like super detailed where you're drawing like every single strand or whatever, but it is much more detailed. And I think I want my hair to start looking like that, but it does mean that I definitely have to do hairstyle studies. Of course, even though it's been 2 days, I still haven't gotten around to it because again, my dad's moving, so I've been quite busy. I'm hoping that by next week I'll be able to actually start doing some proper studies and everything, because I'll have time to like be doing studies and stuff. But besides that, I still think it came out pretty good because I used this as a chance to study the way they do their hair and everything. So I think it came out pretty good. I think it went well until like the very end where I needed to do the left side of his hair. I realized I have this tendency to draw the hair from like the sides, like the hair on the sides come out too far and it looks wonky. So I kept doing that over and over, and I had to keep like erasing it until finally I was like, okay. I was like, clearly I'm doing something a little wrong. So that's when I started to try to like fix the hair so it didn't come out as much as it was coming out, and I tried to use different landmarks of the body to kind of help make sure that the hair doesn't, you know, poof out to like a ridiculous amount or whatever. But I think that extra effort was worth it because it did come out pretty good. I also did the shading a little differently, and honestly I really like the way the shading came out with this hair. Oh my god, I think the shading came out amazingly. It came out so good. Like the highlights, I think in the original reference photo, the highlights have more like spikes in them, I guess, or something to kind of help make it, I guess, look more blended or something. But instead I went for like more like just like straight lines to kind of replicate the highlights. I know it'll make more sense when you see it what I'm talking about, but I think it came out pretty good. I actually really like the way the shadows came out. I also tried my best to replicate the gradient he has in his hair by just you know, lightly scratching over everything and then making the pencil go lighter the farther down I go. So I think overall it came out pretty good. Pretty happy with all of it. I think yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it came out overall. And even though I don't usually spend that long on like a single drawing, or like at least that wasn't my intent with this drawing, I think I really like that I spent all that extra time on it because I think it came out so nice. And then now I just need to figure out what to draw next one, because I was going to do a couple of smaller doodles on the left and then on the right do a bigger doodle. And instead I did the bigger doodle on the left. So I don't know, maybe I'll do another bigger doodle of him on the right as well, or maybe I'll draw something else, or maybe a different Genshin character or something. I don't know, we'll have to see. But yeah, that's it for like the actual drawing. By the way, if you're wondering what pencil I use, it's just a cheap mechanical pencil. I think it's a Bic mechanical pencil with whatever lead it came with. I want to get I have like some idea for drawing with pencil and graphite. I want to experiment with getting a couple different like hardnesses of lead, like 2H, 2B, HB. You know, I think I want to get like those three and get them in 0.5, I'm thinking, and like 0.7, because I think I want to see if I can replicate some parts from my digital style more in my traditional style, and I think I have some ideas of how to do that, but I just need to get the materials to do that because I don't really have I just need some extra sizes of mechanical pencils. I've thought about just buying one of those like mechanical pencil kits that you see like on TikTok all the time, and probably getting off Amazon because it's probably a little cheaper and also like free shipping because I have Prime. But yeah, I definitely want to experiment with that. I think I might make a video about that in the future. If like after a couple of experiments, it's like coming out pretty well or whatever. I think maybe I'll make a video about that in the future. So if that sounds interesting, make sure to subscribe because I probably will at some point do that video. Maybe in like November, December or something. We'll have to see. But anyway, so besides the drawing for the actual character, like I said, emo boy, also Blue Fire. I am obsessed with Blue Fire. I don't know why I love Blue Fire. I think it might be because one of the first animes I watched when I was a kid in like elementary, early high school was Blue Exorcist, and that has Blue Fire. And I think ever since then I've been obsessed with Blue Fire because I thought it was so cool. So see that he had Blue Fire, I was like, that's super cool. Also, apparently the lantern he holds, when you're nearby enemies, the flame turns red. So I thought that was pretty cool. But anyways, also his release animation, amazing. It looked so good. I want to learn how to animate so bad, but I'm doing so many things in my life that I'm like, I can't do animation on top of everything else. But trust me, one day I'm gonna learn how to animate because it just looks so cool. I'm like, I want to create some animations of my OCs, you know? I feel like it'd look so cool. But anyways, just, you know, character looks super cool. Obviously, emo, goth boy, or whatever. He's got like those little things under his eyes, which I'm pretty sure are, in this case, I know like some artists do that like all the time, and they're not supposed to represent necessarily eye bags per se. It's just a style thing. But in this case, I'm pretty sure it is supposed to represent eye bags since not all of the characters in Genshin has it. So I'm pretty sure it just represents its eye bags. I think his eyes are also pretty cool. The yellow eyes really stick out a lot. I think it's also pretty interesting because a lot of Genshin characters have very detailed eyes, but his eyes aren't super detailed, I don't think. From what I remember, they're not like as detailed as like other Genshin characters are. So I think it's pretty interesting. I think like, you know, like it helps overall, like very like chill, tired all the time kind of vibes. But yeah, he's definitely one of my favorites. Even though I haven't played the game in a long time, I have no idea how many Primo Gems I have or anything like that. So I imagine paying for the Primo Gems would be kind of expensive. I've never lost a 50-50, by the way. Fun fact about me. When I started playing Genshin, I heard people talk about 50-50 and I had no clue what anyone was talking about. People would like mention 50-50 and like they'd be like, I hope I don't lose the 50-50. Since I literally never lost a 50-50, I did not understand. Like I didn't understand. I thought that it was like once you did like was like the 70, is it 70 pulls or like 80 something like that? Like somewhere around there. Oh, is it 90? I think it's 90. When you do like the 90 pulls, like you're guaranteed to pull the 5-star. And I thought that that always meant like you were guaranteed to pull the person on the banner because that's what always happened to me. So when people were saying they lost their 50-50, I was so confused. I'm like, what does that mean? I thought that just meant people couldn't get all the Primo Gems they wanted, but no. Or I thought they were either talking about that or they meant that they wanted to get both the character and the weapon from the weapon banner, which I never use, by the way. But like, you know, the character and the weapon from the weapon banner, and that they didn't get both. And I was like, oh, that sucks. But no, it turns out that you can like not get the character. I am so grateful that this has never been a problem to me in any gacha game I've ever played. I've never had this problem. I don't know why. Maybe I just have insane luck when it comes to gacha for this kind of thing, but I'm super thankful that this has never been an issue for me. And I am just praying that I am able to play the game and maybe farm a bunch of Primo Gems so that way I can pull, and hopefully I will pull them and I won't pull someone else. I would be so sad. I really just play like when I pull characters in Genshin, I know like some people play characters and pull characters for like the meta or whatever. I just pull based on who I think is a cool character. So I'd be really sad if I didn't get him. Although if I don't get him, I'm hoping that maybe he'll come back in a banner next Halloween. I mean, that'd be like a year later. I hope it'd be sometime sooner. But you know, we don't have to wait over a year because I remember correctly, I think there was like a character or two that like they didn't do a repull of him for like ages. Like it took him forever to come back. And I think even like nowadays, I think Genshin, like, don't they have like the double banners or something going on now where now you have like multiple 5-stars or something you could pull from the same banner? Just because like obviously, you know, more and more characters, you can't just wait for that re-banner to come back. I do actually think that's a very interesting problem with ongoing gacha games like this, because it's like I think right now they've tried to remedy the problem by including 2 of the 5-star characters on like the same banner, I think, or maybe just have 2 banners running at the same time. But then it's like at some point that's not going to cut it either. Like at some point you're going to have so many characters that then it's going to become another problem. So then what? Like do you do like 3 characters? Because that's starting to feel like, you know, it's getting kind of ridiculous. And then it's like, okay, then what? Then like you do 3 banners at the same time, or maybe 3 banners like just like in like it's all just one banner. And like, you know, I don't know, because I'm not sure of any game of this style that's been around for like as long as Genshin has and like as popular. So I'm very curious to see how you would fix that problem. I really hope it would be so nice. I don't think they'd ever do this, by the way, but it'd be so nice if like, let's say a character is like X years old, like that character came out X years ago. If you could just buy the character, like just let me pay one time for the character. I don't even care if it's expensive. Just let me pay for the character. Just a one-time fee, please. I know that they won't because they won't make nearly as much money, but it's just so frustrating because just let me pay for the character in a DLC. Like this is so annoying to deal with. Oh my god. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with this. Oh yeah, but like anyways, so Genshin feels like a pretty hard game to get back into, but I really want to get back into it. Honkai I want to get back into as well. That's definitely my favorite between Honkai and Genshin. I actually prefer Honkai. I really like Honkai and like the characters and everything. Like it's great. And then Zenless Zone, been ages since I played that. I haven't played it since it first came out because I wasn't really into it. But now like I should go back, give it another shot, you know. So I think I'm going to do that. I definitely spent way too much time. I was looking at like the screen time I spent on my phone. I was like, whoo, I spend way too much time on YouTube. So I'm thinking I want to replace that time playing games like this instead again, because I used to play them a lot. I haven't played them in a while and it makes me kind of sad. So I definitely want to start playing these games again. I want to play them on my computer more. The phone is convenient. The computer is just, I feel like, a better overall experience, but they just take so much space on the computer. I asked my dad for a new hard drive for Christmas because the amount of space that this shit is taking up on my computer is insane, dude. Each one of these games are like over 100 gigabytes. And Genshin has 3. And then Wuthering Waves, like I want to download Wuthering Waves and try Wuthering Waves as well. But then that also, I don't know if it has a PC version. I assume it probably does. But that also takes up like a buttload of space. And then you, the Ananta game that's gonna come out, that's probably gonna be like over 100 gigabytes, maybe even 200 based on like the beta and stuff. Like a lot of the compression that happens, like I don't think people understand about this in game development, but when you're making a game, you're not usually worrying about like the size of the game too much at the very beginning. Like a lot of the compression stuff comes later. Once you're, you know, much more farther along in the game development process, there's like a ton of compression stuff that happens after the fact. But so obviously that means that like the beta version of the game was like a lot of gigabytes because it hasn't gone through like a lot of the compression that it needs to go through yet. But I am worried that it's gonna be like 200 gigabytes, and then it's like that's like what, like 5 games, all 200 gigabytes, 1 terabyte hard drive, not enough. I have a 1 terabyte SSD, not enough. I need to get another SSD, or actually I think my computer can only load 1 SSD at a time. I need like another hard drive to like store all the games on, like a 5 terabyte hard drive to store all of my video games on, like move all of the video games I've downloaded onto that hard drive, because it's just like insane how much space games take up nowadays. It's so annoying and like ridiculous. But yeah, besides that, I have had this other video idea. I mentioned it in my last video as well, but I thought about it a little bit more, and there is this artist I like. I'm not going to say her name because I forgot their name, and also I remember being kind of hard to say. But I will include them in the description if you're curious, and maybe I'll put them up on the screen right now if I remember to do that. I might not. I'm not quite sure. But they draw like Taliban Hanako-kun style art, and it's all like iPad ASMR videos, which is fine. I've thought about doing those type of videos, but I'm not sure. Let me know if you would like those style of videos. I have thought about it, but like I'm not 100% sure. But like if that does sound interesting, like you like iPad ASMR videos, let me know. I will try to add them to my list of video types that I should release. But that being said, it is but anyways, like I said, they've had a couple videos where they like show themselves playing a game or doing something in real life, and then they draw, and I feel like that could be an interesting format to follow. So let me know if that sounds interesting. Like maybe I'll play like a little bit of Genshin together or whatever. You can play a bit of Genshin together or something, or like I'll film my screen while playing Genshin a little bit, and like I'll do a little edit, you know, probably only like 5 or 10 minutes of the video, and then the rest of the video will just be like a draw along with me, and of course I'll include timestamps so you can just skip over it if you don't care for it or whatever. But like I feel like that could be a very interesting, you know, style of games. And then it also forces me, because this is a thing I've learned about myself with YouTube, is if I take a YouTube channel very seriously, because one of the reasons I started YouTube was to force myself to draw more often, but also draw my sketchbook more often, and it's working because I have to post videos, so I have to draw. Like I don't have a choice. So I'm like, wow, how can I do that for literally everything else I want to do in my life? Because if I just force myself to have a YouTube channel about it, it forces me to work on it. So I'm like, how can I replicate the success in other areas of my life? So I'm like, if I maybe do videos of this style where like I play a bit of a game after I film myself, and then like maybe we like draw something to do with the game, that'd be fun, because it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, or like 3 birds. Like I draw, I do fan art, which I've been wanting to do more fan art, and I play the game more. So I feel like this sounds like a great idea. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of it for the drawing. I ended up adding some last minute touches off camera, like basically just like not to like the character itself, more just like the composition, like the extra like background details and stuff, because in the photo I was referencing, it had like some interesting flares, I guess, to it in the thing. So I had like these bits of fire on like the corner at the bottom, and had like these like topography or whatever kind of lines going on in the background. I was like, that looks kind of cool. So I added that at the very end, and I think it really just, because like I didn't know what to put around him. I usually put stars, but I was like, for some reason stars just didn't feel right. So instead I did that instead, and I think it came out so good. I love it. It came out, I love the way this page came out. Normally I post art style videos every Friday, but like I said last time, because it's October and just because I've been really busy, I'm going to be doing those bi-weekly, I think, for until further notice. So I think instead on Friday's video, I think I might digitalize this drawing, because I actually really like the way it came out. So I think I definitely want to use this as like some good digital practice. So if that sounds interesting, if you'd like to see me redraw this drawing digitally or whatever, let me know. I'm pretty excited. I do want to open up an art shop one day. I've mentioned this before. I have hit 1,000 subscribers, which is pretty crazy. My growth has slowed down, which could be not great, but like also at the same time, it does give me a little bit of breathing room to be like, woo, to think I've come back down from like the high that was like that 1 week that I grew like it's insanely fast. But that being said, I do think that this could be a pretty cool drawing to possibly turn into a print in the future one day. I'm thinking that could be pretty cool, or maybe like an iPhone wallpaper, or like just like a phone wallpaper or whatever. Like all this is stuff that could be pretty cool. So I think that will be Friday's video. So if that sounds interesting, make sure to subscribe. I do also post some art style studies. I already have 4 that have gone live for TBHK, Blue Biscuits, Trickywagon, and Kuroshiro. So if you want to watch those, they're all in a playlist. You can watch those as well. Also my Ananta video that I posted on Monday. If you like Genshin, then you'll probably also be interested in Ananta, since they're pretty similar, like overall, like same art style, same like gameplay concepts, whatever. They have gacha, but only for clothes, not for characters, which if that sounds interesting, you can check out that video because I yap about it more there. And yeah, let me know what else you would like to see. Make sure to subscribe if any of that sounds interesting. Make sure to leave a comment of what you think about Flins, or like who your favorite Genshin character is. Like who is your favorite Genshin character? Because mine is like still Zhao to this day. I discovered Zhao and I have been dedicated to that man ever since. I am obsessed with Zhao, and to this day, he's still my favorite Genshin character, even though there are plenty of others. And Flynn, honestly, Flynn might become the second, because he just looks so cool, and I love him and his little personality. He might become my second favorite, but I don't think anyone can ever top Zhao. He's been up there for literal years at this point. I don't think he's ever come down. But anyways, make sure to leave a comment on your favorite Genshin character, whatever. Make sure to leave a like if you liked the video. And yeah, okay, that's it. Okay, bye-bye.